Right now on Good Morning America, first look, breaking news from the flood disaster in Nepal. More Americans declared missing, and overnight rescue efforts halted because of new fears that a lake is starting to overflow. Questions about the safety of Marine One, the president's helicopter, why construction at the White House may have been a factor in a close call. Sounding the alarm about artificial intelligence. More than 100 tech companies coming together to push for new safety measures. What they're warning could happen if action isn't taken soon. New fallout from this controversial golf ad. The CEO responding to the backlash. Plus, the suspect who met police with a flamethrower. Rerouting. The high cost of diesel forces school districts to change bus routes. Later, what Dolly Parton's sister has revealed about Dolly's pre-sunrise habits. And big league feels, a boy in the stands and his reaction when he saw Dad take the field.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm Hanna Battah. And I'm Sophie Flay. We begin with new images from the flood disaster in Nepal. The wall of water tearing a path of destruction more than 60 miles long. Nearly 500 people were confirmed dead overnight, but hundreds are still missing, including dozens of Americans.
This morning, an urgent search for survivors in Nepal and Tibet after that catastrophic wall of water swept away entire villages. Geologists believe the disaster started with a massive landslide and glacier collapse high in the Himalayas, displacing more than 100 million cubic meters of ice, rock, and debris. The flood was so sudden and fast-moving, experts say Nepal's warning system may not have had enough time to alert people to move to safer ground. Hundreds are dead and nearly 1,000 people were still missing overnight, including 90 Americans.
The urgent recovery is underway and it's been complicated by mountains of mud and debris. Communication lines are down, roads are blocked.
Here at home, vigils for the victims as families desperately wait for word on their loved ones. One man sharing this video of his brother, who he says had planned his trip to Nepal for years.
I know when we see the videos of the devastation that has been done, it's very painful, but we are hopeful, we are positive, we are trying, we are praying for his safe return.
A couple from New Jersey in the region for a religious retreat also among the missing. Neighbors shocked at the news.
I'm devastated because I know them and they're a very nice couple, very friendly. We get along very well.
A woman in Virginia says her husband and 9 other men had set out on a trek from Nepal to Tibet before the flood. The group has not been heard from since.
So it's 48 hours. What are they? Where are they?
She and the families of the other men are now reaching out to politicians for help.
Everybody is taking turns in shedding their tears, wiping it off, and getting back to work.
Overnight, rescue efforts were stopped because of concerns about more flooding. Officials say a lake dammed up by debris started overflowing. Breaking overnight, a judge has blocked the Trump administration's new rule that would restrict voting by mail. The temporary order blocks the Postal Service from increasing its oversight of mail-in voting. The judge saying it would be practically impossible for states to comply with the rule for the upcoming midterm elections. Experts say the battle over the new rule will likely end up at the Supreme Court. New questions about the safety of Marine One, the president's helicopter. We've new details about a close call, and it turns out construction at the White House may have been a factor. ABC's Karen Hua has the details. Karen, good morning.
Hey, Hannah. So the issue here is Marine One, the aircraft carrying the president, lost communication with air traffic control. It first happened earlier this month, and that's when Marine One and a plane at Reagan National took off at the same time and briefly got closer than regulations allow. And just yesterday, the radio trouble happened again. Take a listen.
Marine One, how do you hear?
I can't hear Marine One. If you hear Marine One, can you let me know?
That's when another helicopter in the presidential fleet had to relay messages between Marine One and the tower. A report on the first issue was released yesterday and suggested construction at the White House, building a helipad on the South Lawn, may be to blame for the issue, causing inadequate line of sight with FAA radio equipment at Reagan Airport. Now, technicians relocated an antenna, but apparently that didn't solve the problem. They're taking a closer look, but insist President Trump was never in harm's way. Hannah?
Karen, thank you.
Today marks 6 months since the start of the war in Iran. President Trump first predicted the war would last 4 weeks or less. The president last night insisted Iran is begging to make a deal. The war has led to a shortage of Patriot missile systems in Europe. One official calls the shortage beyond critical, raising concern about defending against a Russian attack.
We've heard warnings before about the power of artificial intelligence and how it could destroy jobs and trigger chaos in cyberspace. But this morning, dozens of tech companies are coming together to sound a new alarm.
This morning, a new and urgent warning about artificial intelligence from the very companies developing it. More than 100 of them, including fierce rivals OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and Anthropic, signing an open letter warning that AI-powered cyber attacks are about to get far more widespread and far more sophisticated. The letter warns we have a limited window to strengthen cyber defenses and says the services that communities depend on, from hospitals to water treatment plants, are at risk. The companies are calling for a global-wide effort to strengthen cybersecurity, urging governments to protect the most vulnerable targets. The threat is already here. Hackers have targeted water utilities in at least 7 states, and in some recent attacks, the hacking tools were written by AI. In one case that rattled the industry, an AI agent broke out of its testing environment and hacked another company. Bill Gates this week sounded a new alarm of his own.
AI could empower criminals to create bombs, bioweapons, and computer viruses. There's no plan to ease the entry into the AI era, and not even a plan to have a plan.
Gates, long a tech industry optimist, is now predicting AI will cause massive unemployment, white-collar jobs going first, and he warns even the best-case transition will be one of the most turbulent times in human history. It's a striking shift because just 3 years ago, Gates insisted the risks could be managed, telling our Rebecca Jarvis slowing down AI development would be a mistake.
If you just pause the good guys and you don't pause everyone else, you're probably hurting yourself.
Gates says if the transition is managed well, the good will outweigh the bad. But those companies warned in their letter the window to manage that transition may be closing soon.
President Trump has signed an order renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America, the latest escalation in the trade war with Canada. Trump says Canada has been ripping off the U.S. for years. President can change a geographic name for official government use, but reaction was swift. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney saying we know that the United States is changing their trade relations, their foreign policy, their national monuments. This lake is called Lake Ontario, today and forever. Republican Governor Phil Scott of Vermont saying this is petty and disappointing. We should be at the negotiating table. And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a Democrat, saying effective immediately, Trump Tower is renamed to Natalie Tower, likely a reference to White House aide Natalie Harp. With no trade deal in sight, new Canadian tariffs on U.S. products will take effect September 8th.
Take a look at this, a wild crash in Georgia. Authorities say the 78-year-old driver of this SUV lost control and ended up flying onto a house, slamming into the roof. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. No one else was hurt.
This was the scene in the sky over Texas last night, a partial lunar eclipse. It was too cloudy to see much of it on the East Coast, but they did see it in D.C. Here's a view incredible from the Washington Monument. Time now for your Friday weather.
Good morning. Quieter day in the Mid-Atlantic and in the Northeast. Just some spotty showers. More showers from the Carolinas to the Gulf Coast. See some showers from California into the northern plains. Those could be strong. The heat continues in the west. Nice in the Great Lakes this weekend. The heat in Los Angeles today will probably be about 97 degrees. Phoenix about 111, but there is some relief into next week. Most of the heat is in the eastern two-thirds of the country. Dolly will be a short-lived storm and weak into a tropical depression. Hopefully some beneficial rains for the Caribbean. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Have a great weekend.
Coming up, a major recall involving gas grills.
Also ahead, the suspect who met police with a flamethrower.
And the tragedy on a Six Flags roller coaster, now resulting in a settlement.
Back now with video from Oklahoma City. Police body cameras capture the moment a naked man used a makeshift flamethrower on officers trying to evict him from an apartment. The officers are okay. The man was taken to a mental health facility. He's facing assault and other charges.
The family of a 22-year-old who died after riding a Six Flags roller coaster has settled a wrongful death lawsuit against the company. The man rode the X2 coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain near LA back in 2022. The ride is now closed after 2 people reportedly suffered brain injuries last month. Chris Hawley collapsed and died after his ride 4 years ago. The case was headed to trial next month. Terms of the settlement were not disclosed.
The fate of Lindsay Clancy is now in the hands of a jury. Her lawyers claim she was suffering from severe mental illness when she killed her 3 kids, while prosecutors insist she knew what she was doing. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
It's day 2 of jury deliberations in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. The jury of 9 women and 3 men are deciding the fate of the Massachusetts mother who killed her 3 young children.
This young lady is not guilty of the killing of her children because she was suffering from a disease and defect.
The defense arguing she did not knowingly strangle them, saying instead that Clancy was a devoted mother and a nurse, but was plagued by severe postpartum psychosis, made worse by a mix of more than a dozen psychiatric medications.
Clonazepam, quetiapine, diazepam, quetiapine, it goes on and on and on and on and on.
But the prosecution claims Clancy knew what she was doing when she sent her husband out that day on errands.
The indifference that she showed to their pain, to their struggle, to their suffering, leaving them there on the floor with the bands around their necks.
The prosecutor claiming Clancy killed her children because they were the only protective factor keeping her from trying to take her own life.
Those kids were keeping her from ending her misery. And so she had to remove the protective factor. And I'm not saying she was happy about it. I'm saying that it was what she had to do to end her misery. But it was a choice.
Clancy does not deny taking her children's lives and is now in a wheelchair after jumping from a window after their deaths. It's now up to the jury to decide if she goes to prison or a mental health facility.
The jurors have 5 weeks of testimony to pour over. They deliberated for about 3.5 hours so far. Sophie, Hannah.
Andrea, thank you. A consumer alert before your next backyard barbecue. A recall of metal wire grill brushes has been expanded. It now affects nearly 4 million brushes. Officials say at least 3 people have swallowed bristles that got stuck in their grills or food. The brushes used for grilling are sold by Conair and Cuisinart. Full details are on our website.
Coming up, the high cost of diesel forces schools to change their bus routes.
Also ahead, the controversial commercial that has one company calling for a mulligan, the new fallout. Back now with the fiery landing of a DHL cargo plane in LA. The pilots say the flames were caused by a malfunction in the landing system, causing the brakes to overheat. That runway at LAX remained closed overnight.
The FAA now wants to fire 2 air traffic controllers it says left early the night a plane at LaGuardia Airport in New York collided with a fire truck, killing 2 pilots. The NTSB says one controller was doing the jobs of 2 people, which is not uncommon due to staffing shortages. Higher fuel costs connected to the war in Iran may affect kids getting to school. Districts are facing higher diesel costs for their buses, paying up to $2 more per gallon than last year. Some districts told NPR they've consolidated routes and staggered class times to get more kids on the same bus to save money. We turn now to the fallout from a controversial ad. It's the advertisement causing an uproar in the golf world.
Do not touch my new driver.
The online ad, promoting a driver from Callaway and the popular YouTube golf channel Good Good, shows co-founder Garrett Clark shoving a female golfer to the ground as she reaches for his club. The backlash was instant, critics saying it depicted violence against women, and the ad was pulled. Clark says it was a scripted skit, spoofing the horror movie Obsession, with players being possessed by an evil golf club.
Looking back at it, terrible concept, terrible ad. Once I watched it back and it got posted, my skin was crawling. I was cringing. This is not at all what we stand for.
Callaway, which acknowledges it approved the ad, is now cutting ties with Good Good entirely. ending a 3-year partnership. And it's pledging $1 million to groups working to prevent violence against women. The company's saying these actions do not undo the harm caused or excuse our role in it. Good is also stepping away as title sponsor of a PGA Tour event this fall, and major retailers are reportedly pulling its products off shelves. Clark says the woman in the ad is now receiving hundreds of abusive messages. He's asking people to direct their anger at him instead.
Put it towards me personally. I can handle it.
Good says its focus now is on its team, its culture, and, of course, learning from this.
Coming up, the dinosaur footprints in the American West.
Plus, what Dolly Parton's sister has revealed about Dolly's pre-sunrise habits. Time to check the pulse. We begin with some revealing comments from Dolly Parton's younger sister.
Yes, Stella Parton says that during Dolly's last months, the music legend offered to test experimental cancer drugs in hopes that they could one day help others.
Stella Parton also revealed that she and Dolly shared their morning coffee over the phone every Tuesday before dawn, saying they would gossip as sisters do. And, quote, as she liked to say, we get more work done before the sun comes up than most folks do all day long. Of course, we can relate to that.
Yeah.
Next, voice actor Peter Cullen has died.
He was the voice behind Winnie the Pooh's Eeyore and the Monster and Predator, but he was best known as Optimus Prime from Transformers.
And though we are worlds apart, like us, there's more to them than meets the eye. I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any surviving Autobots taking refuge among the stars.
He voiced the heroic Autobot for more than 40 years. He said he first realized he had a talent for voices when he was 8 years old. Peter Cullen was 85. Next, some big puddles in Colorado, courtesy of some very big feet.
From dinosaurs, check out these footprints in the Colorado town of Ouray. They're part of what's called the West Gold Hill Dinosaur Trackway. Recent rain gave us a better view of those prints. They were left behind by sauropods 200 million years ago.
Crazy.
Next, a rare sight in Atlanta.
A pitcher throwing a complete game. Last night, the Braves' Chris Sale threw his first complete game in 7 years, shutting out the Dodgers. While the lefty was happy to finish the game, one of his sons was even happier, jumping out of his seat when Dad came out for the 9th inning. Next, Pope Leo now has his very own Pope hat, the White Sox version.
The Chicago native's favorite team held a hat giveaway this month, and a Chicago priest delivered one of them to the pontiff himself. The team is in first place. Hey, maybe it's divine intervention.
Checking more top stories, officials overnight said 90 Americans are missing after the flood disaster in Nepal. Nearly 500 people are confirmed dead, but that number could rise dramatically. And there are new concerns that a lake could overflow its banks, triggering another wave of flooding.
A Colorado man charged in a plot to attack the UFC event at the White House in June also allegedly planned to target data centers. Police say Christopher Perry bragged about his criminal past.
A Democratic senator is calling for a criminal investigation of RFK Jr. after reports claiming he may have lied during his confirmation hearing about a 2019 trip he took to Samoa when he was leading an anti-vaccine group. Months later, a measles outbreak killed 83 people. HHS denies Kennedy lied.
Today's weather, the big story is the extreme heat from Los Angeles to Phoenix, even Las Vegas. Storms in the northern plains and southeast. And finally, singles night at the ballpark. Here's Danny No.
While the New York Mets hosted the Brewers Thursday night,
there's a game going on behind us, and we're trying to meet boys.
The team also welcomed many free agents for its first ever singles night.
I think if somebody brings me some sauce for my chicken tenders, they're going to be in there good. Oh, my God.
Bring the dips, men.
More than 1,300 attendees signed up for this special ticketed event where you could come to Queens, attend a few pregame mixers, and then, who knows?
I don't know if we're the first, but it feels like we might be, and I think it's going to take off.
This was the brainchild of Mets Vice President of Ticketing and Revenue Strategy, Johnny Cash, who helped create a 3-colored bracelet system to facilitate mingling. A green bracelet means you're single, yellow means it's complicated, and red means you're taken and just here supporting a friend.
Mrs. Met make you wear this shirt? That makes sense.
Or you can be like Mr. Met and wear a shirt that says Taken, which was probably a good idea since most attendees told me the roster was predominantly female.
I honestly think just women are more likely to go out and do things and do it with their friends.
But for the men who were there, they said one thing that made this feel easier was,
you know, like I love coming to Mets games, so meeting someone else who loves to come to Mets games, that's a great foundation.
Meanwhile, for those who did in fact meet a stranger upon this enchanted evening.
And are you guys getting to know each other right now?
We are.
As of when?
2 minutes ago.
Despite the distracting environment, they did seem to be able to get to the important stuff.
Left side of the bed, right side of the bed?
Right side.
I'm left. Okay.
But hey, even if you don't quote-unquote meet somebody, that doesn't mean you're not going to meet somebody.
I have to be honest, I got a few girls' numbers. Like, I've made some friends tonight.
And guys, the Mets told me they initially only offered 1,000 tickets for this event, but then decided to add 300 more because there was just so much demand. So who knows, maybe there's room for other teams to try this.
Love is in the air. That is your GMA First Look. Have a great day.